we wanted to hop on this morning and talk about 100% accountability, because we have found that that is something that um, that can change our life like forever. Um, Everything in our future, how we react to the past, taking 100% accountability for that can truly change our life. Jen, take over for a second so I can share this.
Sure. And I think 100% accountability doesn't just relate to like business or anything. It relates to everything in your life. And I think you have to find the opportunities, like where are you going to be 100, or how can you be 100% accountable in all the different things that you do. 100% accountable to your family, 100% accountable to your friends. And if you're 100% accountable to your business, the changes that and the growth that you're going to have is really innumerable. And I think the thing about 100% accountability is it can be difficult. Like, do we set the expectation in ourselves to be 100% accountable to not only other people but ourselves? And I think that can be the hardest thing sometimes, because if we're not 100% accountable to ourselves, we can blame other people. Well, I can't be 100% accountable because this, or that. And once we start taking the steps to realize, like, every action has a reaction. So whatever happens to me, if I take accountability for it, I'm going to change it. Oh, go ahead, Deb. Are you there?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we talked about a couple things this week. One of the things we talked about was developing a winning discipline. Developing that thing, committing to one thing in your life at a time or more, and doing it. And it could be something simple as writing your gratitude journal every night, or having your family have a meal together 3 times a week, or whatever is important to you, whatever change is important to you right now. And it could be any little thing, or it could be something huge in your business. Maybe you decide you want to start a podcast. It could be something big, something little, something that evokes fear or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start that new discipline and you win at it, and you are accountable for it, 100% accountable. So what that means is there's no room for excuses when we're 100% accountable. So the fact that we're tired and we can't write in our journal because we're tired, that's not 100% accountable. And the fact that this came up or that came up or the other came up, you're using that thing that came up to trump our accountability. Does that mean we don't have control? Only if we define it that way. Only if we say it trumps it, that it takes over our ability to have control of that situation, right? So that 100% accountability allows us to show up in our life to win at those things that we commit to win at those disciplines that we say that we want to start in our lives. So yesterday we talked about being our own best kept secret. And, that's something that Jennifer and I want to help you overcome in your life. But we know that you can't overcome it unless you decide to be 100% accountable for your life, 100% accountable to not be a secret, to have that thing that's in you that you were put here on this earth to bring out, for you to be 100% accountable for that message, for that product, for that inspiration, that whatever it is, that that genius idea that you have. For you to be 100% accountable to it means that you don't let anything get between you and you putting it out there.
You said 2 things I think that are so important too. One was like the fear, and I think fear oftentimes stops us from being accountable, because when you're accountable, first of all, it takes responsibility. But if you're accountable, you're going to end up doing things that you didn't know you could do, because you're accountable to your actions, you're accountable to others, you're accountable to your future. So you're going to have to do things that you weren't sure you could do, weren't sure you wanted to do. And so I think fear definitely, needs to be acknowledged but dealt with when you're 100% accountable. Fear is okay, because it can inspire to be accountable, to do those things. And the second thing, I really liked how you said that, things come up, and so we lose our accountability. And I think that's really the key. Is this is like a drop dead. I am doing this today. That kind of accountability for the things that are really important. Now, of course, you can't do everything in your day, so I think you really have to weed through what am I going to be accountable about? What do I need to be accountable about? And so if you're going to be your own best kept secret, or you're not going to be, I keep saying that wrong. then you've got to get past the fear, and you've got to decide, if I'm going to put myself out there for my future good, what do I need? What are the top things that I need to do to be accountable?
Exactly. So accountability has to do for me with the crazy things that go through my head. So crazy things that go through my head could be, I can't do a live today because I haven't figured out how to do those little squares around my face yet. And guess what? If I waited for that, I would never do a live, because I never would figure out how to do the little squares around my face. You don't have to have little squares around your face to go live. I did lives for a year and never had squares around my face. But not having that excuse and making myself do it put me here today, where I can, meet Jennifer, and we can form this partnership. If I had never done that, I wouldn't be here today with a little square around my face. She wouldn't want to talk to me, right? She's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not, you don't know how to do it live. But because I did that and didn't let that be an excuse, I'm here today, which I'm so thankful that I am here today, because it's just part of, both of our journeys to be together, doing this with you. So, crazy things we say to ourselves like, oh, well, I can't do a live today because I said I was going to come on at 8:30 and it's 8:35, and, I can't be late, about that. Like, that's crazy talk. Like, just do it. Just get on there, and it doesn't matter. Like, Jen and I were trying to get our squares right, and we weren't sure we weren't going to be able to do it. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to we're just going to do it without the squares. Whatever. We're just going to do it. And then she got the squares, so we're all good. Like,
except
silly stuff.
But you look at even our title. I was telling Deb, like, the U is not in line. I'm like, whatever, we just got to go.
You just have to go. You just have to do it, because people that we're not perfect, right? And we don't expect perfection from each other. And it makes us feel more comfortable when we're not perfect, because it's like, oh gosh, well, she's not perfect either. So maybe it is okay if I do it.
Yeah,
crazy
it's
talk,
true.
right?
Well, it's real. I think you're right. That is real. So, and like the things that really trip me up from being accountable, I think don't prioritize. I just cram my day with all these different things. And over the last maybe year, I really tried to prioritize, like, in big arching things, like what are the top things in my life that I need to be accountable for. Because then when something else comes up, I'm like, no, this is above it. I got to do that first. And it has really helped me to try to be accountable to the things and the people and the actions that I need to make my life work better. Because when I didn't have, and it seems so strange, and I don't know why I really didn't think about it, but when I did not have these hierarchies, when everything was just level, it made it really hard to decide what I needed to do to be accountable. So it's like really helped me.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So if you're looking at a line and everything's on the same field, same level playing field, then you don't know which one to pick, because there's 10 buckets and they're all like the same level. But if you're saying to yourself, this is my year to launch my business. This is my year that I'm going to be present in my business. This is my year that I'm going to show up in a different way for my business and for my family, because I want to grow it. We need the income. I need to grow as a person. I need to do self-development. So that bucket moves up here. It doesn't mean it's more important than a family or God or whatever other things are important to you, but it means that in terms of decisions and how you spend your time, to make this more of a priority. Hey, Erin, how are you? I'm sorry, I can't see who's on, but thanks for that heart. It doesn't mean those things aren't important. Of course, they're always important. You always have your, that hierarchy going. But in terms of how you spend your time, you're not going to put yourself out here this year more than last year if you don't decide that that's a priority. And that in the hierarchy of how you spend your time is something you're going to decide. It's so easy. And I don't mean any disrespect to you because that you're not a mom in any way, but as a mom, I'm speaking to the moms that are watching, it's so easy for us to allow everything else to be more important than our dreams. Hey, Donna, and then what we're here for.
Like literally everything. Like I look, like when I look, why have I not really taken my health serious for 24 years? Because I was really all in on being a good parent. But I left no time to take care of my health. And so now I'm not unhealthy, but I need to get myself in shape. And if I just spend, let's say I gave myself 15 minutes every day for the last 20 years, I'd be in a lot better shape, And I think that's sometimes like accountability too. Seems like, oh, it's going to take so long. And the more you make yourself accountable, the more efficient you become. Because you're like, yes. I want to be accountable to this. I got to get it done. I want to be accountable to this. And so that there's that wasted time that really evaporates because you want to be accountable. You get these things done. And I kind of wish, like you were saying with new moms, I wish I'd implement in my life just 15 minutes. What if I got up 15 minutes earlier every day and just worked out a little bit? And I think that sometimes the accountability seems like scary, overwhelming. I don't have time to be accountable. Well, make your hierarchy and then become super efficient. And that just happens when you become more accountable. You become more efficient, I think.
Absolutely. And when the efficiency isn't there, it's easy to make an excuse because it can be easier to do those things that you've been prioritizing, that you've been 100% accountable to. You've been 100% accountable to your kids. You've been whatever the things that you've been like showing up for in your life. And when you switch that up, and again, it doesn't mean you don't show up 100% for your kids, not saying that in any way, but I'm saying you're showing up differently for yourself. You're showing up differently in your business. And the efficiencies are not going to be there. They're just not because you haven't been prioritizing it. It's okay. Patience is so important. And again, you've heard this example, I know you have 1,000 times, but we're patient with our kids when they're learning to walk. We're patient with our kids when they're learning the skills that you know they're not efficient in. You know that they don't know how to do it. You do, right? You've got to give yourself that same room, that same room to grow into efficiencies that you need for your business.
Oh, I think it's such a great point. Being accountable doesn't mean things are going to be fast. Actually, being accountable means you're willing to put the effort in to make the long run because you see that. So you're like, I'm going to be accountable until I get to that point. Which in a way, since we're talking about parenting, it is much like parenting. You're accountable every single day and you don't see the big picture. You don't need these amazing adults that we're working on raising. It's like, I'm going to be accountable today. And your business is like that. I think, and then I know I suffer from this because I'm much like, all right, let's just do this. It's going to be great. But it's like, it takes time and you can't lose that accountability along the way. So you got to be healthy. You got to, put structures in place. You have to have a hierarchy so you can be accountable for the long run.
Absolutely, for the long run, and expect that the same way your child was on the planet for 9, 10, 11, 12 months for some people before they learned to walk. You were patient that whole time, and you did all the work for them for whatever it took. You did the feeding, you did the changing, you did that. Like you did all that for them because they couldn't do it for themselves. And your business, you got to breathe the same kind of life into your business, the same kind of care and the same kind of patience with yourself. And not expect you to look like somebody who's been doing it for 2 years or 10 years or, God forbid, longer, right? It's not going to look like that. Because
what do we ever, I can't think of one thing that we just do it and we're good at it. Everything in our life, literally every single thing we had to learn. And learning is never learn, do. Learning is a practice. And I think that is, like how you mentioned, it's so important that we realize, like, you try, I challenge you guys to think of one thing that you ever just did. You always had to learn it and be accountable to, like, putting the time in to learn it and being patient with yourself. Like, all those things, it's a great point you make.
Awesome. Okay, well, we hope that everybody has an awesome weekend, and we're going to connect with you again on Monday morning at 8:30. Looking forward to it. And think about ways that you can show up in your life to be accountable, even starting this weekend. Like, how can you do your weekend differently and show up and be accountable for whatever that thing that you need to prioritize in your life starting out. And, you maybe have 10 things on the list, like, I always have.
Why don't you guys comment with one thing that you think you're good at being accountable right now? And if you want to, you can comment with one thing that you want to work at being more accountable. But at least share, like, something that you feel like you're doing a good job of being accountable to.
Right. Any little thing. Like, it doesn't matter. That win is, again, what we were talking about on Wednesday, I think. Having those wins that you are accountable for. Thanks for commenting, Donna. I can't read the comment, but I'll go back and read it. But, share with us that thing that you have been, like, maybe you've, like, drink your green drink every day for 2 months now because you learned to prioritize it. Like, whatever that, it could be anything. Maybe you've, like, said prayers with your kid every night. Like, whatever it
Business
is.
reading. Maybe you're taking time to read, so you're learning. Whatever it is, share one of your successes, your accountability successes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.